and welcome to the 16th episode of Studies in Shadow. As always, I am your host, Jack Rogers, and of course, as always, I am joined by my going to random adjective generator by my lucky co-host, Noah Bazoo. Say hi.
It's take 3 of our intro because we couldn't get it right the first 2 times.
Story of my freaking life.
What?
What?
3 times?
I don't know. What is it?
Third time's a
Third
charm.
time. I was going to say third time. 3 times is a lucky charm. I'm like, no, I'm thinking of cereal.
Anguish.
Oh my gosh. So we're going to jump right into it, I suppose, because we didn't do that last time, and hence the reason the third take. What are we talking about tonight, Noah?
Well, we need to do this submission story from a friend of ours, or a listener.
Okay.
Am I not allowed to say their name?
I don't know. That was the whole reason we stopped and restarted.
I'm going to give them a fake name. I'm going to call them Alex, just because I wanted to make it a fake name.
All right.
He, or she, it's a he, reached out to us and emailed us about a story about their papa and a Hat Man story.
This is going back to episode 2.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, we don't care when it is or what you guys are telling us about. If you share us a story about something we've talked about, like even like a month or so ago.
Or not talked about, if you just have a scary story.
We'll talk about it.
That was the whole point of this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. So we were sent a PDF by this person who I have chosen to rename Alex. From I think it's the journal of this person's dad. Anyway, I'm terrible at reading cursive, but Jack can look at it. It's kind of
I'm good at reading cursive.
It's kind of tough cursive, but you can try to read it.
It's dad cursive. That's
it's dad cursive. So it's a 2-page.
It starts here under the line.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can start reading that.
Yeah. I mean, I can read that part. I didn't know if it was a.
All right. Do you want me to read it, or do you want to read it?
I'll try.
Okay.
I'll try.
Because I'm good at reading cursive.
No, you're good.
My grandma send notes to me all the time.
Just the thing that was tough was the beginning right here.
Oh yeah, I can't read that.
Yeah, I can't read that either. Anyway, so bear with me as I try to go through this. This comes back from July 30th of 2006.
Ooh.
Long time ago. The entry in the journal reads, "Tonight, while lying in bed, trying to fall asleep, drifting in and out, but not quite asleep, I thought I heard the doorbell ring. I saw myself walk to the door and open it. There at my doorstep was a awful-looking old man.
The suspense is killing me.
Medium height. He was about my height, 5'10", it says. Face crack. What does that word say? Face cracked with age.
Yeah, cracked with age.
Cracked with age.
Or cocked with age.
Cocked with age. And
oh my gosh,
and
dude.
Scars that look like acne scars. When a black hat and dark.
Okay, there's the hat thing. We've now established
wearing
the hat.
A black hat and dark boots. And, bro, I am having such a hard time, dude, reading this.
Do you
want to try this, dude? I am having such a hard time, dude.
Okay.
I am having such a hard time.
Wearing a black hat and black boots, and most of all, a dark countenance.
Ooh.
I knew that it was Satan wanting to come into my home. My impulse was to shut the door. No words were exchanged. But when I looked into his eyes, I knew he wanted to come in. I shuddered in bed and physically felt awful. Then the man was gone, and a black smoke came through into my home, right around my, this word starts with a P, or maybe it's bed, and back into my living room. It came to my mind that we may shudder and want to slam the door as a direct confrontation with Satan. Please forgive me if I'm not reading this right. But we allow the mind and darkness to penetrate our home. so that our, oh my goodness, senses are dulled and are led away one little bit at a time until Satan has something in some evil trap. Oh, has caught us in some evil trap. We must not allow, or better yet, we must fight against the evils that instantly find their way into our lives like a mist of awful black that seeps into our lives.
Jeez.
That's really freaky.
That is very freaky.
So, in summary, he went to the
coloring.
door, opened it. There was a really terrible looking guy, and he
With a
shut the
hat.
door. He knew it was Satan. He shut the door, went to bed. He shuddered in bed, and then a black smoke came into his house.
And it
circled
talks
around,
about
and
this
then
guy
went to his
wearing
living
a
room.
hat.
Yes,
and we
that
already
is
know about Hat Man and other harrowing shadows, episode 2. So I'm just kind of thinking, like, I hope he's okay, because
He sounds like he's okay because he's like writing like wisdom from it.
Yeah, but this is in 2006 that entry comes from.
He seems like he processed it well.
Yeah, but we know from our own research that Hat Man, like, usually doesn't let things go very easily.
He just watches you a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you try to, like, fight back or do something or try to, like, escape him, he, like, tries to stop you and, like, kill you. So I'm just kind of remember that?
This was 14 weeks ago. I don't even know what I had for breakfast that day.
Dude, Hat Man he does not play around. So
Yeah, he's
that's why I'm
freaky.
kind of like, if you see shadow people, it's one thing.
Yeah.
But Hat Man is a sign of, like, death or imminent pain. So I'm hoping
yeah.
you're all right. Whoever what was his name again? Who was what I named them again?
Alex?
Alex, his dad. Or if that person.
You sound so confident right now.
I'm just worried because I remember because we had that person talk about, their experiences with kind of stuff, and it just, like, shadow people was scary.
It was. That's a very popular episode.
But but Hat Man is like, there's only one of those guys,
Yeah.
and if you see him with Doulahan, they don't let you just get away with seeing them.
Yikes.
Whether it's a day or a year or a decade, like, something's gonna happen. So
Yeah. That's fun.
love Jesus.
And
or
as
whoever
much
you
as I
need to.
loved reading that story and as semi-skilled as I am at reading cursive, it would help if submissions were typed out to the best of your ability, because then we don't have to sound stupid on the air. Because it looked like I was reading for the first time, but that was still super freaky. I definitely felt the emotion behind the handwriting. Yeah. So what are we talking about actually today, Noah?
We're talking about water things. Sirens and mermaids. Oh, we're copyright now. It's over. Disney just takes our whole thing. We're talking about sirens and mermaids.
And lots of other names.
And lots of other names.
Okay, I gotta ask. From which regions did you look up siren mermaid type creatures?
A ton of Greek and European and ancient, Chinese, like, area. Like, southern China area. And especially, like, Greece and Europe. That's, like, the big thing.
Greasy Europe.
Greasy. No, you went for more of the, I see all, like, the different, he showed me on his notes. He has, I don't even know, is it more than 10 different, like,
I don't know.
names
1,
or
2,
things for
3,
sirens?
it's 9. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, a ton. I went for more of, like, the lore for them in terms of, like, how to fight it, how to get away from it,
Okay.
where people got it from.
So let's
X,
play
Y,
a
and Z.
game. Give me a number between 1 and 9.
5.
I'll say which. Okay, I'll say
my
which one it
favorite
is, and if
number.
you have stuff on it, we'll talk about it.
Go
1,
for it.
2. No, Mom, I'm sorry. I'm recording a podcast right now. Can't answer your call. Now I gotta go back. 1, 2, 3.
Should we preface
4,
by saying what they are
5.
first?
No, let's
No?
make it. Okay, do
All
you have
right.
anything about the New Zealand maracaiho?
No, I do not.
Okay, then just tell me a little bit about something then. We lost the game.
We lost the what?
We lost the game. We didn't have the same thing.
That's okay. Tell me about it.
Oh, okay. Hi, Mom, I know.
Is that going to be on the podcast, that ding?
No, it won't.
Okay, I was
it's
like,
just in our earphones. My mom is
that's
texting me and calling me right now. She wants to know the Netflix password. But sorry, Mom, it's going to have to wait for like another half hour. So this is the New Zealand maracaiho. Actually, this is the one that I could find the least on.
I'm glad I picked it.
It's just like a description. It has kelp hair, dark skin, a translucent purple tail, which is pretty cool, and a seductive voice that puts those who hear it in kind of a high.
Ooh.
And it's kind of questioned whether or not it's benevolent. I didn't see that it did anything to anyone. That's all I have on the Marikihau because it's not on Wikipedia or anywhere.
You know what's interesting about all the research I did on this? I was like, wow, with a lot of like myths and monsters and legends and stuff like that, they're very like specific to parts of the world, and they stay. The Dullahan is only an Irish or Celtic thing.
Yeah,
certain things are in certain places. Mermaids and sirens are like, if there's ever water around in the ocean, you're gonna hear stories.
Fish people.
Yeah, honestly. So let me ask you a question, just to kind of preface this. Before you looked this up, because I know what I thought before I looked this up, comparing mermaids and sirens,
and all the other ones,
just the basic, just the general idea for you, add them all together. Tell me what you thought about both of them combined, or like what are the differences before you look this up?
I didn't even think that mermaids. I think that mermaid is just a nicer, more Disney-fied name for a siren.
Same here.
I was pretty much of the mind that the only actual lore one was more of a siren that wasn't nice and like to sing and drag sailors to their death. Yeah, I didn't really think of mermaids as being a historical thing, more just a common, like I said, Disney-fied character. Yeah.
So I saw the same thing. I was like, oh, it's just a name for something. It's just another name for siren something, which is untrue, because somewhere along the literary and mythological road of time and history, mermaids and sirens, somebody got them confused into one creature, a half-woman, half-fish hybrid, known for her beautiful singing voice. Originally, it was only the mermaid that was half human and half fish and had a singing voice. And that singing voice wasn't even mentioned until like later days. It wasn't one of the original parts of the mythology. Sirens were the ones that sang originally, not the mermaids. And sirens were half woman, half bird.
Interesting.
And that's actually what they are. Like, if you look at, like, people are like, oh yeah, sirens are the ones that sing and make people like, they're ones that look like mermaids. No, sirens look like women and birds mixed together, and mermaids look like women and fish mixed together. And so they're totally different. But we'll get to that in a little bit. But just wanted to set the premise for this. They're totally different, and I had no idea that was the case. So it was really interesting because I searched mermaid siren stories, and it was like, contrary to popular belief, these aren't the same thing. And I was like, okay, this is someone's opinion. So then I look it up, and I'm like, oh no, this is a legit thing. They're two different species.
Legitimate.
Yes, sir. But yeah, it's kind of wild. I didn't, Disney does that to me, I guess, or these Hollywood movies. It's a siren, and it looks like a mermaid, but that's not accurate at all. Sirens look more like harpies, from what like the text I was reading about.
Harpies are terrifying.
Yeah, that's
what
sirens
think of
look more like.
Harpies. I think of like the flying monsters. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what they are.
So actually, one of my mermaids has wings, but also a fishtail.
Ooh, nowhere you can run.
Yeah, right. No, the image was terrifying. Like in my notes.
Do you have a picture of it? We'll put it on the website.
Okay, it's Melusine. It's from France. It's fishtail, and then the second part of it was in all caps, has wings. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, that's freaking terrifying. But apparently she was like super sweet.
Until she ate you.
No, she didn't eat you.
She didn't?
No, she'd like marry you, and then she made you promise not to look at her in the bath, and then if you did, she'd leave you.
Really?
Do you want to hear the rest about her?
Well,
Since we're already talking about her?
I do, but I'm not going to say anything else about mine. But the description you just gave is really cool, because that is a mix of like two totally different like stories from different parts of the world that I have for sirens and mermaids.
Yeah, they'll like make you have promises. Yeah, make you make promises, and if you break them,
I have one story about like one of them. You looking at one of them, and then I have one about making a promise. And it's just kind of interesting how like, that's why I'm so excited, because it's like, wow, these are really cool how they tie together. But yeah, tell me, I want to hear this. This is a cool topic.
So this is kind of in the middle of my notes, because I had to scroll all the way down to France. Because a bunch of these different countries have them. So here's its description. Has a fishtail, in all caps, has wings! Occupies sacred streams and rivers, can shapeshift into a full human. She values her privacy, like I said. If you're in a relationship with her, she makes you promise not to look at her while in the bath. If you break your promise, she leaves you. This next fact was my favorite. Okay, she's a water nymph. You know the Lady of the Lake from like the Camelot stories?
Yeah, it gives you
Also a
skeleton.
water nymph.
Yeah.
It's actually this particular water nymph, the Lady in the Lake, was the one who raised Lancelot.
What?
Yep.
The one you're reading about right there?
No, the Lady of the Lake, who is also a water nymph.
Oh.
Which is of pagan origin.
Yeah.
Which is funny because Lancelot's like, I am a true Christian.
My mom's a pagan.
Honestly, he would have killed his mom. Martin Luther actually believed in Melusine. He described her as a succubus.
I mean,
Not Martin Luther King Jr. I'm talking Martin Luther, like the Protestant.
yeah, back in Germany kind of days.
Yeah.
Old Germanic kingdom kind of thing.
Back with the Catholics versus the Protestants.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
so that's
really
what I have on Melusine.
That's interesting, dude.
Right?
Huh.
Okay, so tell me the two that yours connected to.
Oh, well, we're going to have to go through a lot of different things to, like, get there.
We are not going to have enough time to go through all of our
We
notes.
are not. We're already, 15, 16 minutes into this?
Yeah.
So we'll go quickly. And I want you to stop me at any point and just chime in.
Okay, stop.
Because like I said, okay. Because mine is all very, very, I don't want to say generic. It's very, very broad in the sense of, like, I want for as much as I could on information about the two of them. And it seems like you went for very, very specific, which is a really good combination because you're
Cool
gonna get the
beans.
things
We're
I
yin
did.
and yang. You complete me.
You did. Okay, a little bit more explanation. So I have a whole page of notes on Sirens, and I have a whole page of notes on mermaids. So I'll just start with the Sirens. So Sirens, as we already kind of said, they're half bird, half beautiful maidens. And the Sirens are the ones that were singing. They're singing enchantresses that are capable of luring passing sailors to their island.
To their Ireland.
To their island, oh lassie, luring passing sailors to their island, and subsequently to their doom. Daughters of the river god Achilles and Muse.
Achilles?
No, Achilles.
Oh, okay.
Achilles. That's how you say that. Yeah, daughters of the river gods. They're daughters of the river god Achilles and a Muse. Their name is literally a Muse. They were fated to die if anyone should survive hearing them singing, which is interesting. That'll come into play later.
So they gotta kill anyone who hears them?
And the thing is, they don't actually kill people all the time. Like, that's not their thing. What the problem is that you hear them singing and they're on these super sharp rocks in the ocean and you drive your ship towards it and you sink and you drown. Or there's some tales of it. This is like the most I guess recognized lore of Sirens, which is the ancient Greek one, which is considered the most like legit one. And yeah, it didn't matter if you blocked your ears out and you didn't hear them singing and you didn't die. That's not the same. The only reason they would die is if you heard them singing and you didn't kill yourself by running your ship into the rocks. And fun fact, it's impossible to hear them and not want to go there. But we'll get into that later.
So who told the stories?
Oh, man, I'll tell you. Do you want me to tell you?
I mean, eventually, yeah.
Okay. So it's just like, hold on, where am I going here? I'll tell you one version of the story because the other one's cooler. There's two stories. One comes first, one comes later. Orpheus.
Wow.
Orpheus, back in ancient Greece, Orpheus. As enchanting as their singing might be, to mortals, sirens seem to have no match for divine musicians, as this says.
Nice.
The Argonauts, Jason the Argonauts, for example, had no problem whatsoever to evade these terrible creatures, since they had none other than Orpheus on board, who is like legit someone who played music for the gods in ancient Greece. The very moment he heard their voices, which doesn't make sense because if he would have heard them, he would have died. But maybe
his music's better, so he's like, nah.
Maybe it's because he's divine. Yeah, he pulls out his lyre and he starts just strumming as loud as he can and like legit screaming, singing. And everyone on board was like, "We love your voice, but it's a little loud right now." And yeah, and he literally drowned out their voices until they were far away. He went on for like 30 minutes. They said
He literally went la la la, can't hear you.
Honestly, truth be told, though, like even a second of the siren singing is enough to lure one of the people, which is funny because, as the story goes, one of the crew of the Argonauts hears it before he starts singing, and the guy jumps in the water.
Oh, that's awful.
He starts swimming towards them. Fortunately, this is kind of interesting. Aphrodite saves him. Yeah, she saves him and takes him to be her lover, and they get down and they have a son. and he lives with her forever.
Nice.
And that's the story. So I mean,
She's like, one fell in the water.
I don't know if that's like a win or a loss. Like, he didn't go back to his family, but he had to marry like the goddess of love. Like, I don't know.
That's a win for me,
That's what I
dude.
was gonna say. That's kind of a
Freaking
win.
kidding me?
Saves you, and then it's like, hey, I'll be your lover forever. Let's have a family. And I'm just like, okay.
Heck yeah.
Is this real? Anyway, that's the first living telling of that, because there were myths already back in these days. But this is the first time some people survived, quote unquote. Yeah.
Cool.
Very, very interesting.
Nice. And as a brief intermission to talk about your next thing, I'm gonna list off all of my countries. You tell me which one you want to hear first. Japan,
Yes.
Scotland. Hold on, let me read them all. Africa, Brazil, New Zealand. I already did France, Ireland, Russia, or Norway.
Japan.
Okay.
I feel like the Japanese are going to have a wild one.
A little bit. Okay, this is called the Ningyo. I'm probably saying it wrong. It's spelled Ningyo. It has the body of a fish, head of a human.
Oh, wait.
Okay, not half and half, body of a fish, head of a human.
Some ugly Photoshop.
Not the most attractive creature. There's
ugly
some really,
Photoshop.
really old freaking paintings.
I saw
They
some.
cry tears of pearls.
Huh?
They can also tell the future. There are stories of this certain type of Ningyo called Amabi. Amabie. Amabie. This is another type of Ningyo. Prophesying of good and bad things happening, and both came true. Things like the plague and also good harvesting seasons. They are malevolent and, I said siren-like, they are malevolent and siren-like, transforming into beautiful women to drown sailors. Here's the cool thing. If you eat one's flesh, you become immortal.
Bet.
Yeah. One such immortal individual is believed to be Yao Bikuni, who was an 800-year-old Buddhist priestess, quote-unquote. That's what I have about Japan.
So where is
Japanese
she?
mermaids. I don't know. She's dead now.
But she's immortal.
Get wrecked. I don't know. Dude, I don't know. It says she was, so I'm assuming she's dead now.
I guess maybe you live forever, but you can't be killed, or you can be killed.
Well,
still.
it also says either you're immortal or you have an extremely long lifespan.
Okay, so maybe that's that then.
800 years sounds pretty immortal to me.
say, that's a long
I'd be pretty
time.
done with life by then if I was living here.
I don't know. Like, I feel like it'd be cool to like be around that long.
Yes.
Assuming you had
watching everybody you love die.
I mean, assuming you had like money and like status, like then you could like really like do whatever you want, honestly. But like if you were just like a nobody, it would suck.
Yeah.
I mean, it would suck regardless if you watched everybody.
You'd be like the world's greatest historian, though.
I mean, yeah, like I was there for this. That's not how it happened. Yes, it is.
Okay, talk about your next thing.
Okay.
This is a real loose, structured episode.
I don't think so. I think it's kind of going like a good little back and forth.
All right. No, it's not. How's that for a back and forth?
Okay. This is why the Sirens don't exist anymore. Because they're dead.
Nice.
So, that would make sense. Here's why. Odysseus! Our guy from the Odyssey, Homer's Odyssey.
Yes, yeah.
Odysseus. What a guy. Odysseus is going on his whole Odyssey and stuff like that, and he's heading back to Ithaca. And at this point in the journey, Circe, who is in love with Odysseus, is like, I don't want you to go, but if you have to, it's okay. But just so you know, something really bad's going to happen on your way back to Ithaca. And he's like, what's going to happen with his whole crew? And she says, quote, first you will come to the Sirens, she told him, who will enchant all who come near them. If anyone unwarily draws in too close and hears the singing of the sirens, his wife and children will never welcome him home again, for they sit in a green field and warble him to death with the sweetness of their song. That's what she tells him.
Warble me to death.
So, there was only one way for the sailors to pass the sirens unharmed. You can't hear them sing. So, as advised by Circe, Odysseus ordered every member of his crew to stuff their ears with beeswax.
And to fire cannons at anything that's sung.
No, they shoved it in their ears with beeswax. I don't know if I looked this up. It's actually it's a legit thing.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It's like an ancient way to block out noise.
I mean, sometimes you can't hear because you have so much earwax buildup. It's gross, but it happens.
Yeah, and they would just like cake it over their whole ears, from what the story says. Like they had earmuffs on.
Yummy.
It's so much. Anyway, they couldn't hear anything. But my guy Odysseus wants to be a little rebel and see what can happen, because he's like, I want to know what the big whoop is about. I love this. This is so awesome. It says he went for a much riskier and bolder solution. Odysseus, the adventurer he is, decides that he says, all right, guys, tie me to the mast from my feet all the way up to my neck with, like, he says 15 ropes, like a whole, like, thick ropes. And so they tie him around the mast to the point where it was like,
Now take my earmuffs off.
no, it was like the width of like a human arm was like how much rope was on him.
Nice.
Like his whole body up to his neck was covered. He's just sitting there and he's like, no matter how much I ask, don't pull me out, obviously. He's like, but I just want to know what happens. So he does this and he says, even if I start begging to unloosen them, make it tighter. If I start begging more, punch me in the face, knock me out if I start getting loose a little bit. He didn't want to miss the opportunity to experience the luring of the sirens because he wanted to know what would happen. And so, because he heard them and he didn't go in the water, they had to die. So they jumped in the water and drowned themselves. Because that's how the rules work.
Sirens did?
Yeah, that's the thing. If you hear it and you survive, they have to die. So he heard them singing, he struggled, but he didn't go.
Oh my gosh.
So they legit dive in the water and just dive as deep as they can until the pressure kills them.
So I just had this funny thought. You know what I think it sounded like before the sirens had to, like, when he survived and they had to jump in the water and die?
Yeah, what?
Okay, let's pretend that I'm Odysseus and I've just heard the sirens. It'd probably sound like this. Quote, "Oh, yeah! Oh, that's good stuff! Oh!"
Man, this is
Something like that.
This is a really positive episode of Sunny's in Shadow. Anyway, that is the reasoning for why we no longer hear sirens, because Odysseus decided, I just want to know what they sound like. And in doing so, sounds like a whale. Sounds like the whale from Finding Nemo.
Oh my gosh, what's wrong with him?
Anyway, that's why they don't exist anymore, because he just decided to listen, and he didn't realize that they would kill themselves if he did. But oops. Oh man, that's a bummer. Oh well.
Wait.
But what a guy though. Saved the rest of everybody else.
Goes home. How are the sirens? I don't know. They're dead.
He went home and he was one of the things it says later on is he was just like, after it happened, when it was happening, he was like distraught and screaming. He was like crying because he was so beautiful, he thought. And when they got to port,
Oh no!
stop. When they get to
What have I done?
when they get to port, he tells the rest of his crew, like, what was it like? He's like, honestly, wasn't that great. That's what he says when they get to port. I'm just like, what a legend. What a legend.
10 out of 10 would not do again. 2 stars. I'm gonna go home, rate this on Yelp.
What? But
They had
yeah.
great music, but as soon as I didn't die, they killed themselves.
Kind of a lame way to go.
They're emo mermaids.
But sirens. But yeah, that's all I have about sirens, because like obviously, like, you know, they expect you to run aground and they would either eat you or they would just watch you die. Yeah, they were good looking until you got about mid-waist down, and then it was just a bird. And they had wings, but it wasn't like pretty wings.
Chicken
it was
feet.
like, yeah, chicken feet, literally, but big chicken feet, big old talons.
Like raptor feet.
That's where they got it from. Oh yeah, that's hot.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
My gosh.
This episode better be called, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Tell me another one. I want to know another story.
Okay. Let's do the Scottish Selkie. Ooh. So it literally means like seal women.
Ooh, I have this one too.
They can change between seal and human.
Yep.
And there's a 1992 book from Emily Hestand, which details the story of a man who steals the seal skin from a Selkie, but then he finds her washed up on the shore with human skin. She's naked. And he marries her. And then there's more terrible stuff that happens, and I'm not going to talk about it. Male it says selfies in my notes. Selkies like to engage in affairs with married human women.
Oh yeah.
They're like, oh, my husband is off and he's sailing. And he's like, what's up?
He's fighting in the Peloponnesian War.
Just because there's a goalie doesn't mean I can't score.
Oh, word.
They can only turn into a human every so often, apparently. And then children born with webbed hands or feet were thought to be the children of Selkies.
Huh. So here's a little bit that I had on that too. when they want to go on land, the Selkies, specifically the women, they simply just peel off the seal skin like a zipper. They just pull it off.
You know what I think that sounds like?
Huh. What is that?
It probably hurts, doesn't it?
I was so
You
confused.
try flaying your skin off and getting in the bathtub.
I was so confused as what that noise was. I was like,
It's
are
the
you
screeching of a Selkie.
Okay.
This episode will be called Selkie Screech.
Selkie siren screeching. Okay. Anyway, they could easily
Singing sirens and screeching Selkies.
Okay.
Got it.
You got it. Anyway, they can it says easily peel off their seal skin, Jack, so there's no need to scream. Okay, anyway, they reveal their human forms inside. And what they would do is they would hide their seal skins behind rocks or under stuff to keep it hidden. And the rule is that if a man finds the skin of like the seal skin, he can make the Selkie his bride. And they're renowned to be the most beautiful women to like ever exist in the universe.
Hey, you see this? What's that? Just skin.
But so he doesn't.
Come kiss me.
They don't have to see it. The whole point is if they see it, they'll take it back.
Oh.
So, but for some reason, like they know that guy's not lying if he says it. Like there's like some kind of stench that has it on.
Oh
there.
yeah, you have it? Describe it to me. It's got a freckle like right here. Oh shoot.
Anyway, so what would happen is the man could do that, and they could be married and forever, as long as he kept the skin hidden.
It's like Elf on a Shelf.
Yeah.
But they're not supposed to find it.
And it had to be well oiled frequently. If it dried out, the woman would die.
Aw.
So they would have to oil it while keeping it hidden from their wives. And Selkie stories often end in tragedy because whether the Selkie or their half Selkie progeny, the women never stop looking for their skins. Like they'll do normal things and stuff like that, but like at the back of their mind, they're always like, "Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?" And they have to find it. It's just part of like their nature.
That's awful. That sounds like a really stressful marriage.
And whenever they find it, they go to sea, and you'll never see them again. They leave their husbands and kids behind. It's just like
I
colony
read
to
that.
the sea,
Yeah,
which is really sad. They don't kill anybody. They just kind of just
Hey,
leave.
hi, I'm going home.
It's been 30 years.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Anyway, that's kind of sad.
Cool. All right. Next country. Or this is not a country. This is a continent. Africa. And then there's Brazil. New Zealand. I already did France. Ireland. Russia. Okay, I want to read the Russia one.
I feel like I have
This
the
one's,
Russian one.
This
too,
one's a little
dude.
PG-13.
Oh, I bet I have it. Is this the...
Rusalka.
Hold on, let me see. Oh, yeah, but a Salki.
Rusalka.
I have Rusalki.
Well, you spelled it wrong, pal.
Bro, the internet did not spell it wrong.
Right. They don't have fins.
Nope.
They are beautiful young women that live in water.
Yep.
And according to ancientorigins.net, they are slim with large breasts.
Okay.
And blonde hair. They wear sheer robes, I'm assuming to entice men. They don't have pupils, but if they're evil, these pupilless eyes are like flaming bright green.
My wife's eyes are green.
Oh, shoot. And she doesn't have fins.
Oh, shoot.
You're dead, man.
Sad.
They're thought to be of pagan origin, like water nymphs.
Of course.
And if they don't like you, they'll crawl out of the water, ambush you, and then drag you into the water to drown you. Russia also celebrates Rusalki Week, and they don't go in water because apparently the Rusalki, it is Rusalki,
I told you.
are celebrating and love to be mischievous during this time. Mischievous as in, wouldn't it be so funny? I know what you're talking about. Let's go drown that guy. It'd be something like that. They just go drown everyone.
Did you find out what the Rusalki come from? Like what causes them to exist?
I don't know.
In Russian folklore, the Rusalka, man, it's mostly women that are Rusalki. They're the spirits, the spirits of women who took their own lives or were submerged in water until passing due to unwanted pregnancies.
Oh.
So their souls lived on forever in the form of vengeful mermaids, who punished men and children for their fate. If you met a Rusalki, she would lure you in the water with her beauty and make you feel safe with her soothing voice. She'd seduce you and do all kinds of stuff to you.
She's got chills, man. That's
once
dark.
you were like totally like relaxed, she would hold you underwater until you passed away.
Can you imagine if massages were like that? You go get a massage and you're like totally relaxed.
So
It's like, all right, time's up. It's like, we still have half an Oh, what's that?
In
That's
some
a
versions
knife.
of the story, she would hold you under and tickle you until you died, but she'd be laughing. She would laugh instead of you laughing.
Well, it's tickle torture underwater, so yeah, it freaking sucks.
Yeah. That's kind of messed up. I guess I didn't really understand the whole like unwanted. I understood the unwanted pregnancies thing, but I guess it was either one like the girl. I looked this up. It was either a girl who would like get pregnant like out of wedlock, and she felt too guilty, and so she would like kill herself,
That's so sad.
or if like
It's awful.
evil men or family members were like, "You can't have this baby," they would drown their daughter or wife.
That's awful.
Yeah, and they would become Rusaka.
Do you want to hear a really basic description of Ireland's mermaid?
Sure.
It's called the Marrow. Okay, I'll just read exactly what's written. Name has connections to the word siren. Has green hair, green scales, generally gorgeous. Webbed hands, drowns men.
Yes.
That's all I wrote because that's all I saw. I was like, what is this?
So can I like give a weird description of mermaids since we're kind of on that subject
Yeah,
now?
red hair, blue shells.
Yeah, so
Has
Hans Christian Andersen's The Little Mermaid is a heartwarming tale of a mermaid falling in love, battling evil to be with her love, and living happily ever after as a human.
The original story, that was super dark, though.
That's the Hans Christian. Just kidding, it's not. Hans Christian Andersen's story. The young mermaid gets her tongue cut out and gets burned pretty hard by the prince when he chooses another woman.
Also, it feels, because they literally, like, sliced her fins in half.
Yep.
And so while she had legs, it literally just felt like, imagine you have one leg, one massive leg, and it gets chopped in half, and you have to walk around with that feeling all the time.
Yeah.
Basically, they just look like legs, but it hurts like your tail
Cut in
just got
half.
cut in half.
Yeah. So
And then she dies and turns into sea foam at the end.
So yeah, The Little Mermaid, the real Little Mermaid, is a sinister tale of morality by Hans Christian Andersen, that Danish author back in the 19th century. Like the beloved Disney film, it follows a mermaid's quest to win the heart of a handsome prince, whose life the mermaid saves from the water, like, drowning. Unlike the beloved Disney film, however, the original story, like you said, takes a darker turn when the mermaid is unable to win the prince's heart. She's mute and alone because her tongue gets cut out. That way she can't talk. It's not because that Ursula steals her voice, because she has no tongue. She is doomed to be transformed into sea foam because fish girls have no souls and can't go to heaven. Her
Dang,
sisters.
they're gingers? That's why she's a redhead.
That's Joe. You're taking this.
Gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Mind blown.
Once she dies, her sisters
sick
would then
note,
sell
Disney.
her hair to the sea witch in exchange for money. But what she ends up doing is the Little Mermaid goes to the sea witch before she dies and asks what she can do. And the sea witch takes a rib from the mermaid and gives her a dagger and says, "You have to use this to kill the prince in his sleep. If you let the blood wash over you and your feet and you legit roll around in his blood, you'll regrow your tail the moment you step back into the ocean, and it will come back and it will feel fantastic." Aww. Then the Little Mermaid goes to the prince with the knife over his head, and she can't do it because she resisted taking him. But because she resisted taking him, angels appeared and let her know that if she can work for several hundred years of doing good deeds nonstop for 500 years, they will give her a soul and she can go to heaven after that she dies.
Nice.
So it's kind of like it has a happy end.
It's bittersweet.
Yeah, it's kind of like, okay.
By the way, you're on parole. Ah, dang it.
Yeah, that's kind of like really messed up. Dang it, Disney.
All right, my turn. This comes from the continent of Africa. This one's name is Mamiwata.
Babatunde.
Mamiwata. Can you guess what that... It's pigeon, pretty much. It's speculated that that's actually just pigeon. Mother water.
I was going to say, Mommy Water.
Mamiwata.
Babatunde.
No, it's Mamiwata, but also they speculate that Mamiwata actually has some African meanings to it, not just English pigeon. I think the article I read, it sounded like they were mad that Europeans made it sound like it was just mother water. Like I'm pretty sure, and they're like, we're pretty sure it means something else. She's often portrayed as a female, often portrayed as female spirits. Black hair. Pardon me. Nude upper body of a human.
Of course.
And bottom half is a fish or eel of some sort. I'm sorry.
Ew.
Fish fin, that's cool. For some reason, there's just a really unsettling image when it's an eel tail.
Like
Anyway.
it's a woman like gorgeous all the way down to her waist, and then it's just like a slimy tail.
It's like a snake.
Ew. Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't even, okay.
So, also, Mamiwata is just a general term for a broad species. It's not actually just one specific spirit. She has a pet snake.
As you do.
She can shapeshift into a complete human and roam as she pleases. She kidnaps people. Oh, this is interesting. She'll kidnap people from the water, but in a good way. Like she'll bring them back to her home, which is apparently like super nice, and then she lets them leave, and they have like a brand new perspective on life. Yeah, she is worshipped, by the way. She is kind of a deity.
Of course.
And it was also said that she will give somebody a sickness that only she can cure, so they'll have to spend time with her.
Aw, so she's just kind of lonely.
She's a health hostage.
Aw.
And that is Mamiwata.
Mommy water.
No, it's Mamiwata.
Mommy water.
It's literally Mamiwata.
Mommy water.
Stop. Don't take this from me.
So, one thing I have on here is like the earliest mermaid-like figure was most likely the Syrian goddess Atargatis, yes. And she would watch over the fertility of her people, as well as their well-being, so on and so forth. She, too, was human above the waist and fish below it, and was accordingly associated with water, of course, as the Syrians would do. The Syrians bestowed Atargatis with the biggest, most
You can speak, it's okay.
I can't. Yeah, I'm like totally stepping over myself.
You've got it, I believe.
They gave her the biggest temple they could possibly build, which came complete with a pond of sacred fish that you were not allowed to throw coins into. That was like a big point. You could not throw coins into it. Perhaps the oldest known mermaid myth is, the fact that, Atargatis, she was a goddess who fell in love with a human shepherd, but her divine strength accidentally took his life. Overcome with grief and guilt,
She hugged him too hard.
Huh?
She hugged him too hard.
That's not how the story goes. I know you know what I mean by that, though. I didn't want to put that in, but yeah, they did what all married couples do.
I just said they hugged, okay? You're actually going into detail now.
I'm just saying, for all of our listeners, they do what all married couples do.
Dumb.
And she's just way too powerful, and
Oh my
he
gosh,
couldn't
Noah.
survive. That's not even inappropriate. That is not inappropriate
No,
at
I
all.
know, but we didn't have to go into it. It's
Bro,
okay.
I didn't.
They're not dumb.
I didn't. I'm just explaining what it is. You're making it awkward. Anyway, she's overcome with grief because she kills him, and guilt because she killed him. She tries to take her own life by jumping in the ocean, and that's when she's turned into a half fish, because when she goes into the water,
She lands on a fish.
no,
really
she's
hard.
just like, she was too beautiful, and the fates and the other gods were like, we're not just gonna let you kill yourself. So we're going to let you live forever as a fish god because you tried to kill yourself, which is disrespectful to us who created you, but you're too beautiful to let be killed permanently.
What a waste.
So she became the first mermaid. Yep.
Very nice. Okay, I have two more.
Do it.
One of them is super dark. The other one, not as dark, but still pretty cool. Should we save the darkest one for last?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to Brazil.
Brazil.
So this is the Iara. She is a specific individual woman. So she's like a mythical figure, I guess you could say. She was originally a human, and I believe she had brothers, and she was better than them at literally everything. And she was pretty much better than all the men at everything, and so they got jealous, and so they did what any jealous guy does.
Killed her.
Yeah, they freaking drowned her. That's not what any jealous guy does, I hope. She was reanimated and made into a mermaid-type creature by a powerful water spirit that took pity on her. And then she's like, thanks for the pity. I'm going to use this opportunity to kill every man I see. And so she would lure men to the water and then drown them as an act of revenge on all men. This stopped, however, when she eventually found a man and fell in love with him. She's like, cool. I think I've killed enough dudes. This dude's pretty cool. Y'all are good now. And she's described as having shimmering green hair and copper-colored skin.
Huh. Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
Yeah, and I was like, cool. She's a vengeful mermaid.
Yeah, I was
And it's
like,
just one.
It's just only one of them?
It's a girl. It's Yara.
Huh.
Iara.
That's actually interesting, because
Yeah.
most of them are not just person, or a name of one.
Yeah,
person.
that's why I thought this was interesting. I wrote down
like
it's a
that.
specific individual.
I like that one. That's
Yeah.
a good one. All right, tell me the really scary one.
Okay. Norway.
Ooh,
Finfolk of the Orkney Islands.
good stuff.
They are powerful sorcerers, shapeshifters. They live in Finnfolkahim, which, according to Wikipedia, says, according to folklore, the underwater dwelling of the Finnfolk, known as Finnfolkahim, literally Finnfolk's home, is regarded as the place of origin for the Finnfolk and their ancestral home. A fantastic underwater palace with massive crystal halls, Finnfolkahim is surrounded inside and out by ornate gardens of multicolored seaweed. It is never dark in Finnfolkahim because it is lit by the phosphorescent glow of tiny sea creatures at night. Its great halls and vast rooms are decorated with moving underwater draped curtains whose colors move and dance with the underwater currents. Sounds like a beautiful people, right?
Yeah, it does.
They're actually pretty freaking sadistic.
Oh.
They're avid swimmers and sailors. Like, they just get in boats and they just row and sail. And they literally go out in search of humans to kidnap. Like, they go and they're like, all right, what are you going to do today? What's the goal? I bet I can get 5 humans. I bet I can get 6. It's pretty much that. They're going out hunting. Once you're taken, you're forced to marry them. Yeah. No, these guys are messed up.
What if it's a dude that takes me?
Apparently dudes only take the women and the women only take the dudes.
Thank goodness. I was like,
So once you're they have to marry a human of, I believe, the opposite sex, or else they become increasingly ugly. They can't breed with each other. They have to breed with humans.
Huh.
Yeah. And okay, the Finn women may be really beautiful, but the Finn men are like kind of skeletal looking. They're very thin and gaunt and very grim looking faces.
Looks like All Might.
They're super, super powerful. They can row... Okay, listen to this. Quote, they can row between Norway and Orkney in 7 oar strokes.
I feel like that's a huge distance, though.
Yeah, I don't know how far the Orkney Islands in Norway are, but I can assume it's not possible in 7 oar strokes. They can make their ships invisible and create fleets of phantom boats. We're going straight Lord of the Rings here.
Yeah.
You and Watami. And then just tons of ghost ships. Hey, ghost ships. We talked about that last week.
Hey, throwback.
Full circle. And that is everything I have on the mermaids of Japan, Did I do Scotland? Yeah. Africa, Brazil, I didn't do New Zealand. Yes, I did.
Yeah, you did.
France, Ireland, Ireland, Russia, Norway. Takk for maten. That's the only thing I know from that's the only Norwegian I speak. And yeah, that's all the places I have with mermaids. Or sirens, take your pick.
Huh. That's interesting stuff. I'm like looking at the same thing you were just talking about, like the distance between the two places.
How long is it? How far is it?
It says like about 25 miles.
Nice.
So that could be exaggerated. Hold on. What was it called again? It was between Norway and where?
Norway and the Orkney Islands. Orkney is spelled Orkney.
Okay, so 25 miles.
25 miles.
Yeah.
That's enough to assume. Yeah, so 25 miles and 7 oar strokes.
Literally 1, 2. Jeez.
Yeah.
They're just there.
That's pretty cool.
Dang.
But that's all I have. What else you got?
That's all I had too.
Oh
That's
my
really
goodness,
interesting
it's timed
stuff.
at the perfect time.
We did, dude.
Well done, us.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, well this was a funny episode.
It was really interesting.
But you want to know why?
Because next week.
Because next week's gonna be freaking Halloween, bro. It's gonna be real dark.
Oh yeah.
We are releasing our Halloween special, early. We're not releasing it on a Friday. We're releasing it on Wednesday.
Thursday.
Are you sure?
Halloween.
Thursday's Halloween? I need to fact check this.
Isn't it a day before?
I'm going to look real stupid right now. It is Thursday. I'm an idiot. So, wait. Yeah. So Thursday instead of Friday, you'll get it a day early.
That'll be on Halloween.
It'll be on Halloween. I said the 31st. It'll be on Halloween, and we have an amazing special treat for you.
We've already done it.
We've already done it. I just need to finish editing it, and it'll be all good. I am super pumped. Also, there's some other really cool news. It'll probably be another couple weeks before it's official, but there are going to be some really cool changes coming, potentially, and I'm really excited.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
And also, check out the website because it's totally up and ready to go now. And also, we've got things updating on it every single day. And you can get in and get some new stuff if you want to as well, and talk to us and possibly be able to get some early access to certain things, like videos from our Halloween special that we already did. The videos.
We haven't set up a Patreon yet.
No, I'm talking about like in the future.
Oh, in the future, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously,
get early access to videos and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is a podcast. You don't do videos. But, and we're not going to tell you what happened, obviously. But we took videos and photos of this area, place, and circumstances we went to.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll say nothing else about it.
Yeah, they're really awesome. And you'll be able to see them because I don't think word will be able to do it justice. How incredible it was.
It's beautiful.
And terrifying.
All right. Oh, some other cool news. We are on 3 new streaming platforms.
Bam, bam.
Yeah, we are now on Pandora, TuneIn, and Stitcher. Oh. So that, accompanied with iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and SoundCloud, I can officially say...
Tell them.
Find us wherever you listen to your podcasts. Should I close this out now?
Ask me the question.
What is your Noah nugget of knowledge? I always forget.
So glad you asked me today. All right, the Noah nugget of knowledge, the NNN. You can hear a blue whale's heartbeat from 2 miles away. Yep. Yep, 2 miles. And that's your Noah nugget of knowledge for the week. But
nice. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter, or follow us. Our username is Studies in Shadow. You can visit our website, like my amazing co-host said, studiesinShadow.com. For all inquiries, you can send a request or message or whatever you want at studiesinShadow@gmail.com, or message us on one of the social media sites mentioned prior.
Or our website.
Yes. Music composed and produced by Jack Rogers and Matthew Gonzalez. We thank you for listening. This has been Studies in Shadow. Stay safe, and maybe stay out of the water for a while.